Hi, thanks for taking time to pop in today and listen to what I have to say about admissions decisions. So this is the season. It is currently December 10th, the day I'm recording this, but tends to be the season when early action decisions really start rolling out in pretty full force. And many students are going to hear their decision answers between now and really maybe December 20th is usually kind of the latest in the window before the holidays begin and admissions offices stop for the season. But to prepare for that, I thought I would spend a few minutes just talking about the primary types of decisions, but more importantly, what to do if you have a student who is deferred. So first, let me talk about the other two types of decisions that students may get, and then we'll dig into what deferral really means and what follow-up needs to happen when it comes to that. But in terms of just the decisions that they may receive, the best news is, hey, great, you're admitted. We want to have you. We are offering you a spot in our class, and we would love to see you send in an enrollment deposit and commit to being a student here with us. Remember, deposits do not have to be submitted until May 1 of next year. So even though the decision is coming now, a final commitment from the student is not due until May the 1st. The exception for this could be certain large, especially large public universities who are worried about housing may ask families to pay what we call a housing deposit, which is separate from the enrollment deposit. But that may be something that you have to consider if it is a school that's really strongly in contention, so that the student can move forward with other steps of the process related to housing and things like that. Also, just really important that after you get that admissions decision, reminding students that there may be follow-up like this, like things to do with housing, certainly things to do with orientation and other pieces of information that you're going to have to submit down the road, particularly if it's a place you have decided that you're going to enroll. So again, best news possible, admission is yes, you are admitted and we are welcoming you into our class. The extreme opposite of that obviously is being told no. Certainly nobody wants to hear that. It is just a reality of this process that some students are going to get told no in the long run. My advice in this situation is let it sink in. As a parent in particular, you may be angry. You're certainly going to empathize with your student. You may feel the pain that they are feeling. But really, really do your best to let it be a moment in time. Give them a little time and space to feel bad and sorry for themselves. But then really, it's important that we help them move on. There are going to be other good, even better perhaps, decisions that come in down the road, meaning they're even better because it might be a better match for them overall. But certainly hearing good news is a better outcome. But we want to focus on the positives. And so give them their moment in time, let them wallow for no more than 24 hours, and then hopefully pick them up and they're ready to move on in a new direction and feeling positive. Now, the other third type of decision that you typically are going to get out of early action is a little bit more like purgatory. It is being deferred. And being deferred means you applied in the early action round, but now the college has decided we're going to roll your application over into our regular decision pool and then make a decision about whether or not to offer you a spot when we review applications again next spring. So the worst part of it is the waiting, the not knowing. But the good news is you are strong enough of a candidate to be rolled over into the deferral pool. So again, parents, as we're building them up, resist the urge to overreact to a deferral and lean into the idea that this is still potential good news coming. This is still a chance. You're saying there's still a chance. So this is important to remind them that this is not a no. This is just, hey, we either need more information, or B, even more likely, we as a college don't really know what to do with all of these applications that we have. So we're rolling over a bunch of them so we can look at the bigger pool altogether in regular decision. It helps them manage their enrollment, which is a big part of what happens in this process. And so they can't over enroll, they don't want to under enroll. So they're trying to find their own sweet spot when it comes to all of this. So deferrals are not uncommon. And so often there are schools where they use deferrals as a major piece of their process. And most of the time, those then turn into yeses at particular schools, again, depending on their process. So all is not lost if it's a deferral. What can you do, though, when you get deferred? There are usually follow-up or secondary steps you can take to ensure that you are maximizing the possibility of being told yes in the spring. First and foremost, it's really important to understand what the specific college either asks of you or will accept from you. So, for example, they may specifically ask you to write a new essay. Why are you committed to our school? Why are you so interested in attending our school? That kind of thing. They may ask you to submit mid-year grades. They may give you the opportunity to submit new test scores. They may offer an opportunity to share new or additional letters of recommendation. So the most important first step is understanding what that specific university will either require of you or allow you to share, and making sure that if this is a school that is really of interest, you are doing all of those things. Certainly you're going to fall down the list if 90% of the other students do all of the things and you do not. So again, if it's a school that is really in contention and there's really a strong interest, by all means you want to do everything that is available to you. Maybe not testing one more time. That's a totally separate decision and discussion to have, because that is a commitment of a lot of time and energy and all of those kinds of things. But if your test scores are your weak link and this is the place you really, really want to be, it may be smart to spend the time and energy and take a test again, if that helps. The other thing that may not be explicitly asked for, but is certainly a part of this process in a lot of cases, is something called the Letter of Continued Interest. So the LOCI for short. But what this is essentially an opportunity for a student to write something to the admissions rep for their area that just reiterates their ongoing interest in this particular school. But the catch is, A, you must give supporting evidence and reasons for why this particular school is of interest to you. Also, it's great if there is new information about yourself that you can share. That essentially means you have changed, improved, modified, something is different than it was in your original application. So what could that be? It could be things like being inducted into a club or an honor society or cum laude, or getting tagged as junior marshal, something like that. Sorry, not junior marshal, that would have already happened before we got to this point of senior year, my bad. But the idea is, are there new things, new accomplishments, new achievements that you are able to share at this point? Maybe when you applied, you were a student who was working on your Eagle Scout, but now you've completed it and you can share that information. Just again, thinking of things that are new and different, that mean the information is slightly enhanced from the time the original application was shared. Certainly updates about your academics, even if they don't specifically ask you for your mid-year grades, write them out. If you're doing well, which I hope you are, because that's going to be the best chance you have for improving your odds of admission, then you share that information in this letter, simply outlining, I am really enjoying my classes, XYZ is my favorite, and overall I am maintaining a 3.9 GPA for first semester of my senior year. That kind of thing. So there's lots of other details that may be worth sharing, but it obviously, as always, on a very individualized basis, and it depends on the student and what their circumstances are in terms of the ability to add new information to this process. If there really is no new information to share, I caution families about writing the letter. Simply restating that you really, really love the school and you want to attend no matter what is probably not going to be enough to tip the scale in your favor. But there are lots of other things you can do. So if you have questions, reach out, drop a message in the comments below. We would love to talk to you about it. And good luck to everyone as you get ready to hear these decisions in the next week or so.